A little while ago, I played one of the most unique Pokemon games that I've ever seen. Don't believe me? Well, in the first minute of the game, a Cramorant flies in, eats Pikachu, and takes his place as the mascot of the game. It's a pretty large-scale project, with a new location, new moves, and even a secret final boss. So now we're left with a question, one that's probably never been asked before. Can you beat Pokemon Yellow with only this stupid fucking blue bird? Okay, let's be real. It's obviously possible. We both know that if it wasn't, I probably wouldn't even be making this video. But I'm also not saying that this was easy. In fact, there were times where I wanted to die.
What the fuck? No!
So yeah, the game starts in Pallet Town, and we now have a Cramorant. My rival Melon barges into Professor Oak's lab, grabs a Pokemon, and instantly challenges me to a battle. I throw out my Cramorant, and he throws out Arrokuda. Two things to note here. Number one is that I nicknamed my Cramorant Bubba, so I'm going to be calling him Bubba for the rest of the video. And number two is probably obvious if you play Pokemon. It's that both of these Pokemon shouldn't exist right now. Arrokuda and Cramorant came out with Pokemon Sword and Shield, a game that released in 2019. And the game I'm actually playing came out 20 years earlier. So these were two of the 3 new Pokemon added to this mod. I think it's a funny detail because in the Pokemon lore, Cramorant actually eats Arrokuda, which means, yeah, we destroyed our rival. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the gameplay stuff. I took Bubba through the Viridian Forest and to the first gym, where we utterly destroyed Brock because of the type advantage. But that's also when I noticed my first worry of this challenge, my level. Sure, I could beat Brock's Onix because I had a move that did 4 times damage, but what about fighting someone who's a higher level than me, who's electric type? Cramorant's a water flying type, so electric would do 4 times damage to me. Then I would be fucked. What's worse is the electric gym is 2 gyms away, so we gotta get strong. I went to go to Mount Moon fighting every trainer I could. This was honestly the worst part of the game. I kept getting poisoned, so I had to keep healing. But by the time we were in Mount Moon, I was actually pretty strong. We were level 19 with a solid moveset and even 2 stab moves. The Jesse and James fight was really easy, so I just went straight to the rival fight. That is, after I remembered something from my childhood.
No, I swear there's a rare candy here somewhere. Yeah, there it is.
Pretty impressive, right? My grandma's dead. I thought with all that training I could destroy Melon, but that wasn't really true. In fact, I lost. This is when I realized my second problem with this challenge. Even if I'm over-leveled, I can only use Bubba. When my opponent can use multiple Pokemon, it's not really fair. Luckily for us, this bridge is the perfect place to train. I beat Melon and all the trainers and was given a chicken nugget. And then I met Bill. I hate this fucker. Apparently, due to some science experiment, he trapped himself in a Pokemon and needed me to save him. So I left him to die and went to fight Misty. I was honestly dreading this fight because I don't have a good move and Starmie's really strong.
It's Starmie? I'm a little worried.
But because of a lucky crit and Starmie going for fucking tackle, we won. That meant that our next gym was Lieutenant Surge's gym. The electric gym. The type that does 4 times damage to Cramorant. But for the first time in this game, I wasn't alone. Because when I arrived in Vermilion City, I saw this.
Let's find the mart. What is this? Cramorant Fan Club?
This was the greatest place on Earth. Everyone in the same room praising the greatest Pokemon ever made, besides Tropius. And when I talked to the president of the club, he not only made me a member, but gave me a special item. TM Gulp Missile, Cramorant's signature move. So I instantly taught it to him. Wanting to use the new move on the gym, I realized how much deep shit I was in. Turns out I didn't have cut. Not a huge problem. I found out you have to get cut on the SSN, but when I went to the SSN, I didn't have a ticket. And that's when I realized. Normally when you save Bill, he's supposed to give you the ticket, and I left him stranded. So I had to go back and save him, get his ticket, find the captain on the boat, get cut, and finally we were at the gym. I fucking hate you, Bill. I hope your stock portfolio crashes and you lose all financial security. This was it though. This is what we've been building up to. 100% the hardest fight so far, and maybe even one of the hardest fights we'll see in the game. I sent out Bubba and he sent out Voltorb. Also shout out me for getting to heal. And I one-shot Voltorb with Bubble Beam. He sent out Pikachu and I one-shot it with Bubble Beam. Everything so far was going great, but then he sent out Raichu, his ace. I knew I had to one-shot him here and now or he would use an electric move. This is what happened.
Please. No. He used Growl. Okay, I didn't have to worry. Gen 1 AI still sucks.
And so we beat Lieutenant Surge without taking a single point of damage. Don't worry though, that was just shitty AI. The game is about to get really hard. Also, if you're wondering why I didn't use the new move Gulp Missile, it's because on the SSN I realized that it's actually a pretty shit move. It takes 2 turns to charge up, but in case you're curious, this is what the animation looks like.
I kind of want to test our new move. Bubba gulped up a fish. It kind of looks like Hyper Beam.
Also, might as well mention this as well, but the reason Cramorant didn't know cut and I was able to cut the tree was because I had a slave Pokemon who will use HMs for me. It's a pretty standard thing for these challenge runs, so I don't have to have a bunch of bad moves. After not knowing where to go for like 30 minutes because I hate Gen 1, we ended up in Lavender Town. And blah blah blah, there's some ghosts in the tower, we gotta go to Sylph Co to get some thing to see the ghost. I don't know, bro. I did fight Melon though, and because we learned Body Slam and Waterfall, we destroyed him. This part of the game is usually considered the worst part of the Gen 1 games, so I'm gonna skip most of it, but I have to mention a specific house I saw.
The Way of the Fish.
And of course, after reading that, I had to go inside.
So like, my bros are like really into this whole Way of the Fish thing. I don't really get it, but like, at least it gives them something productive to do. The Way of the Fish. What is this?
Turns out we were in one of the few new locations added to this mod, and the best part is that we'll see more later. The first 2 people we fought down here just had a bunch of fish Pokemon, so we took care of them pretty easily. But the last guy had 5 Pokemon, and he opened his battle with a Gyarados. I thought I was in trouble, but the rest of his Pokemon weren't that bad, until the final one.
That looks fucking menacing.
And although we won, I just think it's funny that this guy evolved his fish before my rival. Then I picked up the item on the ground, and I got my own Arrokuda. Pretty cool, but we can't use them. So I left the fish house, and this is where we fast forward. 4th gym destroyed, Sylph Co building cleared out, got rid of all the ghosts, got the Poke Flute, woke up the sleeping Snorlax, who I couldn't catch, so I killed him for XP, and before I knew it, I was at Koga's gym. I thought I was gonna be pretty over leveled for the Koga fight, but turns out I wasn't. In fact, this is when I finally realized that I'm pretty sure this mod makes all fights harder. He had a level 51 Venomoth, which he doesn't have in yellow or red, which explains everything. I also could have learned Hydro Pump, but I actually turned it down due to 2 reasons. Number 1, low accuracy, and number 2, low PP. Because I can only use 1 Pokemon, I don't want to run out of a move, especially during the Elite Four. Luckily though, because we beat Koga, we could now get another good move for Bubba, Surf. Now to get Surf, you have to go through the Safari Zone and search for the Warden's gold teeth, and it's just the worst thing ever. I actually kind of hate this generation now. But after getting Surf, the game goes a lot faster. I went to clear out Team Rocket in Saffron City, where I fought Melon again, and saw he finally evolved his fish when this happened.
That's not gonna kill, is it? That's a beast of a Pokemon. Okay. We're fine as long as we kill it with Drill Peck. No! I used that on accident! I love Gen 1 AI.
After beating Team Rocket, some rich guy gave me a Master Ball, and since we're not going to use it, I just threw it away. And then I went to fight Sabrina, who in the OG games was the hardest gym leader in my opinion. But here, Bubba destroyed her, I got the 6th badge, and I ended stream for the day. Oh yeah, by the way, I did stream this entire game live, so if you want to catch future streams or just enjoying the videos so far, please subscribe, it helps me a lot. The next day, I backtracked all the way to Pallet Town because I didn't know how to get Fly, and surfed down to Cinnabar Island. Before we could go to the gym though, we had to beat the dreaded Pokemon Mansion. I keep on talking trash about this game, but the Pokemon Mansion is legitimately the worst thing I've ever done in Pokemon. There's too many encounters, the puzzle is stupid, and it just takes too long. So I just ended up watching some dude's guide on YouTube. And so after pushing through, I got to the 7th gym. And this one is unique. There are trainers that battle you, but before they do, they ask you a question. If you get it right, you get to move on, and if you get it wrong, you get to battle them. Everyone knows once you beat a gym, you can't battle the trainers anymore. And I need all the XP I can, so I should get everything wrong, right? Well, I can't do that. It would hurt my ego. So I answered every question right and confronted Blaine. I wasn't really worried though. Because I had Surf, I one-shot all of his Pokemon, even his level 56 Arcanine, which is a great sign. Now, another reason why this fight was so good is that I now had the Volcano badge. I keep on saying I hate Gen 1, but there is a very niche mechanic in it called badge boosting. In the earlier games, some badges actually boosted your stats. The best one for Cramorant though is the Volcano badge, which boosts your special by 12.5%. It's gonna help my Surf hit very hard, which is perfect for the 8th gym leader, Giovanni, who's a ground type specialist. This fight isn't even worth talking about, I destroyed him entirely. I also fought Melon, and he was actually weaker than Blaine. What a loser, he'll never become the champion. And after verifying all of my badges and finally getting to Victory Road, I lost my save data. God
Guys, I think we just lost our fucking save.
I wish I was joking, dude. I tried to speed up my emulator and instead reset my progress for the entire day, which not only meant I lost an hour of my life, but it meant I had to do the entire fucking Pokemon Mansion again. So I did it, and I did the 8th gym, and I fought Melon, and I was finally back to Victory Road.
Let me save state this. There we go.
I wanted to crash out so hard, but my chat was there to keep me going. After speedrunning Victory Road because I was still pissed, we finally made it to the Indigo Plateau. This is what we've been building up to, and I knew that this wouldn't be easy. It's the Elite Four and the Champion versus one Pokemon, a 26v1. First up was Lorelei, and she was kind of an issue because I didn't have anything strong against ice types. My other issue was burning a lot of PP. I only have a certain amount of attacks for the entire gauntlet, and once I'm out of a move, I'm out for good. It just so happens Lorelei has a ton of bulky Pokemon that also can go for rest, so by the end of the first battle, even though I won, I was not in a good spot. From here on out, I would have to manage my resources perfectly. Luckily though, I have a secret weapon, and I can use it against Bruno, the second Elite Four member. The battle starts, and turn 1, I go for Amnesia. You might be thinking, what the fuck are you doing? All Amnesia does is raise your special defense, right? Well, yes, in the current Pokemon games. But in Gen 1, special defense and special attack are combined into one stat called Special. So Amnesia's not only making me bulkier, but making me stronger. And now that I'm set up, I one-shot his entire team, even Machamp, which I wasn't expecting. Next was Agatha, the third Elite Four member and the Ghost-type specialist. This is a little bit of a problem because I can't use Body Slam, one of my 4 moves. I'm able to get through using my other moves, but now my PP is running low. I've tried to say this 5 times without laughing. I can't. I walk up the hallway to confront Lance, the final Elite Four member, the Dragon-type specialist. But right before I do, I save my game, just in case. I send out Bubba and he sends out Gyarados, so I Body Slam, but then he sends out Seadra, and I'm unable to kill it. Then he heals, and this happens.
Oh, fuck, I'm dead. Wait, no, that's a special move. Yeah!
Okay, attempt number 2. I take care of Gyarados again, Seadra comes out and crits me with Thunderbolt again. Hello?
What is this game? That's the second crit!
So, I get an idea. I use a TM and remove Body Slam, and instead teach Cramorant Blizzard. There's a lot of problems with this idea. Blizzard only has 5 PP, it's not accurate, but because I don't have a strong special move against Seadra, this is my only option. I start the third attempt going for Amnesia when Gyarados goes for Hyper Beam, and it actually does less than I think. So because he has to recharge, I get another free Amnesia. Now I'm positioned to sweep with Blizzard as long as I'm lucky. It hits Gyarados, it's a one-hit KO. It hits Seadra, it's a one-hit KO. It hits Dragonair, it's a one-hit KO. It hits Aerodactyl, it's a one-hit KO. And it hits Dragonite for a one-hit KO. We go 5 for 5 on Blizzard. Now it's time for the champion. After I force feed Bubba 9 rare candies. I send out Bubba and Melon sends out Sandslash, and we already know that he's not built for this. I set up with Amnesia and kill every Pokemon standing in Bubba's way. And on the final turn against his level 70 Barraskewda, this happens.
Ending it on a crit when we've gotten fucked this whole game.
So yeah, we're now the champion thanks to Bubba. But I'm still forgetting something. Remember that final boss I was talking about at the beginning of the video? Well, I actually didn't know it existed. So after becoming the champion, I ended stream. See, the way that I found out about this mod in the first place was from a viral Twitter post from 2 years ago. It was basically explaining what the game is. Pokemon Yellow, but Cramorant replaces Pikachu with a few extra secrets. I DM'd the dev and told him that I wanted to play the mod. At the time, I had 150,000 subscribers, when now I have over 4 million. So in the middle of 2023, I streamed it. If you know what Shorts Wars is, it was also in the middle of that. And after doing the fish dungeon, I DM'd the guy asking if I missed anything, because I didn't want to miss anything. That's when he said there were a couple things by the SSN and a secret tough trainer in Cerulean Cave. Now at this point, I was already the champion, so I had to do an extra stream doing all this bonus stuff. I went to the SSN and picked up a Master Ball from the front of the boat, and then I went to the truck on the right and encountered a level 50 Mew. This is based off a really old conspiracy theory that back in the day there was a Mew under this truck, and it's cool to see the dev put him in here. He also transformed into Bubba, which I pleasantly enjoyed looking at, but now it was time. For Cerulean Cerulean Cave to see what this guy added. How hard will this final boss be? Who is it? Well, after accidentally stumbling into the secret room, I started finding level 85 to 90 Pokemon. And after walking to the back of the room, I saw someone. Me and chat had no idea who this guy was. So I said hi to him, and turns out it was Professor Oak. He had 6 insanely strong Pokemon, including a level 92 Dragonite. But still, they were no match for Bubba. Shout out Kramer Dev for making this game, and thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. Also, the video that you're seeing on screen is what YouTube wants to show you next, so why not see if it's right?